Welcome back to this week's Read This Next with Laura and Nicole from the Thunder Bay Public Library. Today's a special episode for us because we get to film in the same room.
Yay!
I can see her over there. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at Laura instead of her on the screen, and if you hear echo, please forgive us.
Yes, please forgive us
we're
if
new
we're
to
having
this
issues.
setup.
It's our first time with this.
But our theme today is we wanted to do fantasy because we try and intersperse them all, but we wanted to do something more specific, so we picked Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings read alikes, which are very different books, but they all have like very big world building. So that is our topic for the day.
Fundamental part of that world building, and also kind of medieval European wrappings. Now, I did, as I said to Nicole before we started, not only have I never read Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, I have not been watching the Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings TV shows from which this episode is inspired. So
this is a me one.
This is a Nicole one. But I did work through, I did add some of these titles to the list, and we did specifically, I tried to make sure that I picked some that were looking at like other kinds of fantasy, so not just European inspired. So we have some really interesting, diverse fantasy picks on this list too.
Can't wait. I will say, for my credentials, I have watched the new Game of Thrones show. And I started the Lord of the Rings show. Only got one episode in though, because we both went, my partner Alex and I, we both went, we just finished Game of Thrones. This is a lot of fantasy. We need a break. So now he's watching his own thing and I'm watching anime. So yeah, Way of the House Husband. It's pretty good. I like it.
It's got very good reviews.
Yeah, I like it. Okay. I will start because I am purple. So the first one that we have is The Grace of Kings by Ken Louis. And here's the description. 2 men rebel together against tyranny and then become rivals. In this first sweeping book of an epic fantasy series from Ken Louis, recipient of Hugo, Nebula, and World Fantasy Awards. Wily, charming Kunigaru, a bandit, and stern, fearless Mata Zindu, the son of a deposed duke, seem like polar opposites, yet in the uprising against the emperor, the two quickly become the best of friends after a series of adventures fighting against vast conscripted armies, silk-draped airships, and shape-shifting gods. Once the emperor has been overthrown, however, they find themselves the leader of separate factions, 2 sides with very different ideas about how the world should be run and the meaning of justice. Fans of intrigue, intimate plots, and action will find a new series to embrace in this Dandelion Dynasty. I almost said Finn.
Dynasty.
Dynasty? Is it not Dynasty?
I'm pretty sure it's Dynasty.
Dynasty. That's the name of the series.
Yes.
Dandelion Dynasty.
It's 4 books, and I think the last one came out this summer, I believe. So you could just jump in.
Finish it all.
Go through this whole thing.
Yeah, I know that's a big. I haven't read the Game of Thrones books, but I know that that's a big complaint with them. It's like it's not done yet.
Right. Yes. But it will be, right?
Oh, they have like
promised.
Well, he has the book that's supposed to come out soon, but then he said there's like one more in the series.
Oh.
Yeah. So sorry to bring that up for the Game of Thrones fans out there.
Yeah, we know that hurts you.
Yeah. Pain.
Okay, so this next one is called The Obsidian Tower, and I have to say, big fan of this cover. It is very cool. And it is book 1 in the Rooks and Ruin series by Melissa Caruso. The mage-marked granddaughter of a ruler of Vaskandar, Rix, RYX, Rix, was destined for power and prestige at the top of Vaskandran society. But her magic is broken. All she can do is uncontrollably drain the life from everything she touches. That's a real downer. And Vaskander has no place for a mage with unusable powers. Then one night, 2 terrible accidents befall her. Rix accidentally kills a visiting dignitary in self-defense, activating a mysterious magical artifact sealed in an ancient tower in the heart of her family's castle. Rix flees, seeking a solution to her deadly magic. She falls in with a group of unlikely magical experts investigating the disturbance in Vaskandar Every time I say it a little different.
Yep.
And Rix realizes that her family is in danger and her domain is at stake. She and her new colleagues must return to the family stronghold to take control of the artifact that everyone wants to claim before it destroys the world.
Ooh, the best kind of fantasy is the one where you're not quite sure how to say the names. Yeah.
It's funny because that description of like that she uncontrollably drains the life of everything she touches. Immediately, of course, I go to like Rogue from the X-Men.
Mm-hmm. Poor people.
Yeah, that is a crummy power.
Yeah. Interesting that they're both women who have that power too.
Yes. Out of all the powers you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great one.
No.
Not a great one.
I would definitely want a different superpower.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so that's book 1 in that series.
Okay. Our next one, I feel like this isn't a YA, but it kind of looks like it might be.
That author writes YA and juvenile series as well. They do.
Okay. This is Queen of the Conquered, which is the first of the Islands of Blood and Storm, by Kaysen Calendar. Sigourney Rose is the only surviving daughter of a noble lineage on the islands of Hans Lolik. When she was a child, her family was murdered by the island's colonizers who have massacred and enslaved generations of her people. And now Sigourney is ready to exact her revenge. I almost said extract. When the childless king of the islands declares that he will choose his successor from amongst eligible noble families, Sigourney uses her ability to read and control minds to manipulate her way into the royal island. Ooh, smart.
Yes.
Where was I? Oh, onto the royal island and into the ranks of the ruling colonizers. But when she arrives, prepared to fight for control of all the islands, Sigourney finds herself the target of dangerous unknown magic. Someone is killing off the ruling families to clear a path to the throne. As the bodies pile up and all eyes regard her with suspicion, Sigourney must find allies among her prey and the murderer among her peers, lest she become the next victim. It says for fans of V.E. Schwab, Kirsten White, and Marlon James. These are all so far fitting into the royalty and a little touch of magic and supernatural stuff.
Intrigue, betrayal.
Yeah, kings, queens, murder.
Which, and again, I suppose at this point, every magical skill set's kind of been done, but I was like, okay, so she has Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what she's got.
It's easy to relate them to other things.
Yes. Okay. Next one. Ooh, this one I want to say maybe is YA.
It looks like it could be.
It does.
Yeah.
This one is called Son of the Storm, book 1 in the Nameless Republic series by Sui Davies Akanangwa. Oh, that was not even close.
Maybe?
Okangboa.
Yeah.
Okay. This one is a fantasy that is set in a world inspired by the pre-colonial empires of West Africa.
Oh, okay.
So different.
Real world building.
Different direction.
Yeah.
I say as I fluff my hair in front of my face. In the ancient city of Vasa, Danso is a clever scholar on the cusp of achieving greatness, only he doesn't want it. Instead, he prefers to chase forbidden stories about what lies outside the city walls. The Basai elite claim there's nothing of interest.
Of course.
This city's immigrants are sworn to secrecy, so there's something to learn. But when Danso stumbles across a warrior wielding magic that shouldn't exist, he's put on a collision course with Bass's darkest secrets. Drawn into the city's hidden history, he sets out on a journey beyond its borders, and the chaos left in the wake of his discovery threatens to destroy the empire.
Ooh.
So that sounds like a real, you open the door and a whole bunch of stuff came out.
Skeletons galore.
Yes, lots going on. Another beautiful cover. Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous.
A lot of the covers on this one are really good. And this one's also very much anti-establishment, which is breaking down the power of the colonizers in their nation, just like the previous one.
Yes, it looks good. Okay. Next one definitely is YA. And I believe you've read another book by this author.
Yeah, I read Cemetery Boys by them. Yeah, super good. So this one, the cover looks incredible as well. Love the shades of blue and green. This is the Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas, which is apparently going to be a duology.
Okay.
So it says, "Welcome to the Sunbearer Trials, where teen semi-diocese, maybe? There's an I in there. Semi-diocese compete in a series of challenges with the highest of stakes in this electric New Mexican inspired fantasy from Aidan Thomas. Yikes. Okay. Quote, only the most powerful and honorable semi-diocese get chosen. I'm just a Jade with a capital J. I am not a real hero. End quote. As each new decade begins, the sun's power must be replenished so that Sol can keep traveling along the sky and keep the evil obsidian gods at bay. 10 semi-dioceses between the age of 13 and 18 are selected by Sol himself. Is that right? Sol?
Sol? Sure.
Sol. Okay. I'm thinking like Sol, like Soleil, like French.
Yes. Well, I mean, close, right? Because this is
Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay. They're selected by Sol himself as the most worthy to compete in the Sunbearer Trials. The winner carries light and life to all the temples of Reino de Sol, but the loser has the greatest honor of all. They will be sacrificed to Sol. Not good.
The greatest honor of all. That's what we call it.
Yeah, we'll make them really be happy that they're there at least.
Yeah.
So their body will be used to fuel the sunstones that will protect the people of Reino de Sol for the next 10 years. Teo, a 17-year-old Jade this one has an accent in it, semi-dios. I spelled it differently. And the trans son of Quetzal, goddess of birds, has never worried about the trials, or rather, he's only worried for others. Oh, sorry, I thought I heard a
No.
Like, what?
No, I was you know what my brain went to the fact that Quetzal, and then I thought of I don't think it's a dinosaur, I think it's a contemporary of dinosaurs. Quetzalcoatlus, which I'm always proud of myself for being able to pronounce because I
am very impressed.
I read a lot of dinosaur books with my kids.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that digression.
Dinosaurs? Oh my god.
Carry on.
He's only worried for others. His best friend, Naya, daughter of Terraria, the god of earth, excuse me, is one of the strongest heroes of their generation and is much too likely to be chosen this year. He also can't help but worry, reluctantly and under protest, for Aurelio, a powerful gold semi-dios. I said it differently that time too. Sorry. Anyways, and Teo's friend turned rival who is a shoo-in for the trials. Teo wouldn't mind taking Aurelio down a notch or two, but in a 1 in 10 chance of death, it's a bit too close for Teo's taste. Then, for the first time in over a century, Sol chooses a semi-dios who isn't a gold. In fact, he chooses two. I think it's Zio, a 13-year-old child of Mala Suerte, god of bad luck, and
bad luck.
What?
That is bad luck.
That is bad luck. And Teo. Now they must compete in 5 mysterious trials against opponents who are both more powerful and better trained for fame, glory, and their own survival. That sounds good.
Yeah, you know what? That kind of pulled in by that one.
Yeah, Hunger Games for the gods.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. It sounds like demigods, really. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds really good. And you know what? Cemetery Boys was incredible, so I have no doubt that this one's gonna be well written too.
Yeah. Yes.
And diverse.
Mexican-inspired fantasy. Let's mix it up.
Sexuality-wise, but
that
gender,
too.
But yeah, all around.
Yes, it's intersectional.
Yes.
I have in fact been to the Temple of the Sun and the Moon in Mexico.
Oh, there you go.
Which probably are playing a role in this story.
Oh, so you'd be like, I've been there.
Yes, long enough ago that you used to be allowed to climb them. So I have climbed them. Nowadays, it is not legal anymore because tourists like me, or people, well, I wasn't doing it. But people would like chip rocks off and like write their names on it, destroy it. So you're not allowed anymore.
Shame.
Yeah. We're always ruining something.
Mm-hmm.
Next one on that dark moment. I'm all about the tangents today, apparently. Okay. The next one. I want to say this may also be YA, but
I think so.
I'm not sure though. But this one is Indian inspired background. And it's inspired by the ancient Indian classic. Just feel bad for this one. But the Mahabharata. Hey, actually, maybe that was not so bad.
That felt right.
That felt not that bad. Okay. The book is called Upon a Burning Throne. It's the book one in the Burnt Empire Saga by Ashok K. Banker. In a world where demigods and demons walk among mortals, the emperor of the vast burnt empire has died, leaving a turbulent realm without an empire. Without an emperor.
Oh,
Not without an
not
empire.
as bad.
Not as bad. Two young princes, Audrey and Shvete, are in line to rule, but birthright does not guarantee inheritance. For any successor must sit upon the legendary burning throne and pass the test of fire. If I was like a preteen child, I would think it was pretty funny that they have to literally sit upon a burning throne.
That's very Game of Thrones.
Imbued with dark sorceries, the throne is a crucible, one that incinerates the unworthy. Ouch.
Dang.
Adri and Shvete pass the test and are declared heirs to the empire, but there is another with a claim to power, another who also survives, a girl from an outlying kingdom.
How dare she?
When this girl, whose father is the powerful demon lord Jarson, is denied her claim by the interim leaders, Jarson declares war, vowing to tear the burnt empire apart, leaving the young princes Adri and Shvete to rule a shattered realm, embroiled in rebellion and chaos.
Oh.
Welcome to the Burnt Empire Saga.
I love that. That's interesting. That is that screams Game of Thrones to me. The whole there's a throne, you gotta be able to withstand the heat to sit on it.
It's interesting that two of them get to be like
three.
Well, three passed the thing, but that like even before this third one came in and was denied her claim, there was already like two. Were they gonna like lead the realm?
Yeah, and maybe that's just like the law. Well, I guess they don't specify. I was going to say maybe it's the line of succession, but if there's still two, they're not specifying.
Right? That's interesting.
Why not a third?
Why not?
All right, this
next one.
Yeah, the next one is The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan, which is a older one, and I believe it's in translation. I could be wrong.
I think it is not.
Okay. It's the Wheel of Time series.
This is like the big one.
Yeah.
That you hear as a read alike for these for Game of Thrones, definitely.
Yeah, we try and always throw in like lots that aren't things that you can Google yourself.
Yes.
But there's some that they are unavoidable. So this is one of them. This is says the wheel of time turns and ages come and ages come and pass, leaving memories that become legend. Legend fades to myth, and even myth is long forgotten when the age that gave it birth returns again. What was, what will be, and what is may yet fall under the shadow. Ooh, Moriane, maybe, arrives in Emond's field on a quest to find the one prophesied to stand against the Dark One, a malicious entity sowing the seeds of chaos and destruction. When a vicious band of half-men, half-beasts invade the village seeking their master's enemy, Moriane, I know I'm saying that one wrong.
Someone's going to correct us.
Yeah, please do. Persuades Randall Thor and his friends to leave their home and enter a larger, unimaginable world filled with dangers waiting in the shadows and in the light. So just everywhere. The shade is fine.
Yes.
Though.
Sounds like there's
this I think that's the end of the description. I feel like then it goes into it says that it's not a grimdark fantasy series, but so it's much more along the lines of Lord of the Rings than it is J.R.R. Martin.
Gotcha.
But it's a classic, so I felt like there was more to it. Yeah, because then it says down at the bottom, When the two rivers faces a Trolloc attack, a savage tribe of half
no.
man, half beast, our group flees into a world they barely manage. Barely imagine.
No, it's all right. We're back into the shadows and the light.
Yeah. Weird. Anyways, sounds good. Takes you to another world. Love it. And this next one, I actually really like the cover.
Yeah, it's a bit much for me.
You're like, no.
It's a little bit much for me, but I get it.
It's very fantasy.
It's very fantasy.
Puts you in it.
For sure. Okay, so this is our last one. And then I have a couple of quick ones that are just like books that we've mentioned in the past that fit onto this list. And we've also done an epic fantasy list before.
Yeah.
So be sure to check out the show notes for all those details. So this last one is called Throne of the Crescent Moon, Book 1 in the Crescent Moon Kingdoms series by Saladin Ahmed. Okay. The Crescent Moon Kingdoms, home to, Djinn and ghouls, both spelled slightly differently.
I think it's Jinn.
You're probably correct. But ghouls.
I think ghouls is ghouls, yeah.
Ghouls is ghouls. Holy warriors and heretics are at the boiling point of a power struggle between the iron-fisted Caliph and the mysterious master thief known as the Falcon Prince.
Ooh.
In the midst of this brewing rebellion, a series of brutal supernatural murders strikes at the heart of the kingdoms. And it's up to a handful of heroes to learn the truth behind these killings. Oh, so here's our handful of heroes. We've got Dr. Adula Maxlude, the last real ghoul hunter in the great city, just wants a quiet cup of tea. We've all been there. 70 and more years old, he has grown weary of hunting monsters and saving lives, and is more than ready to retire from his dangerous and demanding vocation. But when an old flamed family is murdered, Adula is drawn back to the hunter's path. I mean, potentially a very old flame if he's 70 and many years old.
What is 70?
I believe a score, I want to say it's 20. You might have to Google it for me.
I'll Google it while you talk.
Would be that he'd be 60. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Next one, Rashid, the next one on the handful of heroes list. Adula's young assistant is a hide-bound holy warrior whose prowess is matched only by his piety. But even as Rashid's sword is tested by ghouls and man-jackals, his soul is tested when he and Adula cross paths with the tribeswoman Zamia. Zamia Badwari, protector of the band, has been gifted with the near-mythical power of the lion shape, but shunned by her people for daring to take up a man's title. You know what? Get it. Good for you, Zamia. She lives only to avenge her father's death, until she learns that Adula and his allies also hunt her father's killer, and until she meets Rashid.
Ooh.
When they learn that the murders and the Falcon Prince's brewing revolution are connected, the companions must race against time and struggle against their own misgivings to save the life of a vicious, despot. In so doing, they discover a plot for the throne of the Crescent Moon that threatens to turn, Dam Aswat and the world itself into a blood-soaked ruin. I kind of like that. I like that vibe that there's like the older, experienced world-weary one.
Yeah.
And then you've got like this
good trio.
Yeah, it sounds like a good trio.
Yeah, it almost, I wanted to say when they said he just wants a cup of tea, like it felt like it would be a little more silly, like lighthearted, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
That like these, a lot of those other ones were a lot more serious, like we've got to save the Empire. Whereas this one's just like, oh, we got to save the Empire, but I also want some tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I looked it up. A score is 20 years ago. It's not 20 years ago. It's 20 years.
It's 20 years.
I was thinking 70 and 7 years ago. And I was like, score and go. I'll just read these previously rec ones real quick. We have the Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, which was I started reading and then I had to put down because they like sewed his eyes. And I was like, no, thank you. Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James, All the Stars and Teeth by Adeline Grace, and The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Mi Vo. Those ones are all going to be in the show notes, and as well as I think you said you'll link to our epic fantasy one.
We have a whole other episode of epic fantasy recs.
Yeah, so these ones we're digging deep for these, except the one that one was like a classic. But yeah, so I guess I will wrap it up.
Yes.
All right. Thank you again for watching us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks. Make sure you check out those show notes. They're www.tbpl.ca. Nope, TBPL off the shelf.com.
Yes.
TBPL.ca is our website. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let us know what you're reading. And yeah, we're at TBPL across the board, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.